Hello, this is Casper and welcome to another Umbraco tutorial. Today I would like to talk to you about Dropdowns, because this has also given me some problems in the past, for quite a long time actually, and it's only, the last 3 weeks ago that I figured out how to deal with this problem. So I thought I'll definitely share this as well, because this is information that anyone developing a website will need sooner or later. So yeah, let's just get started right away. Hopefully this is this should be more or less the contact form you have. Of course, if you've added more or did want to include something, that's of course perfectly fine. But as long as it works for you, then I'm happy, and you should be as well. But anyway, let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is, and just before I continue, I do want to say one thing. Earlier on this week I did try and make this video and it went perfect until I found out there was no sound on it. So I'd been recording for half an hour and you can hear my voice, and I thought that was quite essential when I was explaining. And the reason that you can hear my voice was of course because, as you can see, I've installed Windows 10. Works perfectly on my machine. I'm actually very happy for it. It's the best of both Windows 7 and 8. But for some reason it took away my setting from Overwolf, with my microphone, so I had to just say use my microphone. Bit stupid, but that's how it is. So okay, anyway, let's get going. As you see, I've already made a drop down, so I've just deleted it. So now we can start all over again. Discard. Good. So yeah, a drop down. It's something you'd click on, then there'd be some values inside. In this example, I'll just talk about some static values, more or less. Let's just say that you have a contact form like we have now, where we enter I'll just open up a new window here, contact. So, of course, I forgot to remove that. Let me just do that very quickly. Contact formula. Oh, where is it? There we go. So, there's the drop-down list. Let me just remove that a minute. So if we open it up now, there we go. So we have an email and a name and a message. What if we would want to ask the user, well, are you a man or a woman, or what are you, so to speak? We'd go in here and we'd add a data type. And we'll call this drop-down genders. So we are looking for a gender. So of course we want to choose the drop-down list, and then we'll add some prevalues, as they're called. You could probably do something, just don't touch this, and then pull in the data from another database or something like that. But I don't know how to do that yet. I haven't really had the need for it. So for now, we'll just leave it. But otherwise, I'm sure you could create your own data type, or your own data type on the spot, actually, if you need it. But anyway, let's put in. So we have Mr. Let's press enter. Mrs. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. That's good enough for now. So we just save that, and then we have our drop down here. So now that that's completed, we of course go into our settings, document type, our master, and then our contact formula. Go to generic properties, and here we wanted to add one. So we'll call this drop down gender. You can see I've already got it listed here, but let's call it genders. And we want to use our drop down genders of type, and we will put it in the site information. We'll save it, and then now that's added. So if we go into our contact form, you can see that there's a drop down gender, but of course nothing has been selected. Yes, okay, actually while we're at it, I want to show a nice cool feature. Look at this. We have 3 at the moment. 3's nothing, but let's just say we had a lot more. Let me just enter the recycle bin. Let's say we had 50. We do not want to right click here and have to say delete every single time. So if you have a node, like a contact us node with contacts underneath, maybe normally, actually I'm creating a website right now where I'm not even storing the contact information, I'm just sending out an email with SMTP, and I might actually show you that in a later video coming out soon, because I need to do that anyway, so I might as well make a video about it. But anyway, so the smartest thing is to go into settings and find the contact page, go to structure and press enable list view, and then save it. And then if we go to content and reload the page, needs to detect the change, and see there's these 4 like boxes. So if we click on that, now they're all listed. And now we can publish them, we can unpublish them, and we can delete them. So let's delete them. Save and publish, and that's it for now. Of course, you can still create up here, and there's actions here. That's all good. Reload, nothing has changed. Right. Let's continue. Let's first we want to start with our model, because we need to pass in data. So the first thing we want to pass is, we actually need, here we had on our email, which we send in an empty email property into the model, and then we pull out the same property but with information, and then pass it to the Umbraco functions or code, and it uses the data. But this time we want to pull out data of Umbraco and then put in the selected data into Umbraco. So what we want to do first is we want to create an I enumerable, and the type will be a select list item. Don't be alarmed if you start writing or typing for select list item it doesn't come up. Just type out the whole thing, and for example, because I've already added this, I forgot to delete this. Oh, there we go. So if I delete that, I'll write select list item, it won't come up. So, but anyway, you can just write it, and then you press Control and then the dot, which is next to the comma, and then it will come down with using. You can also just, of course, hover over it and just press. Okay, so we want an enumerable select list item, and we'll call this list of genders. And this, of course, will be, come on, we want a get and set. There we go. This is all good. And now we want a there we go, string which will hold our selected gender, because we're passing value in and pulling a value out. We're passing in a list, and this time we're just pulling one value out. That's why it's not a select list item or an I enumerable. An I enumerable is just several things. If I just made it a public, select list item, that'd be one, but we want several. And basically, whenever you have something to do with a list, you want to use an I enumerable, even if there's only one, because you never know when you want to add more, and that's just the way it works. So always use an I enumerable when you're making any type of drop down or list. So this is good. Let's go build the view first. So contact form, and then, don't know if this is exactly what you have, but for me it's okay. So yeah, let's make a new break, and we can say, let's do a label. Label 4 is equal to drop down gender, for example, and this would be select gender. Yeah, good. Just put a line break in there. We want this underneath, another line break. There we go. Okay, so to get this list, we say at HTML dot drop down list 4, and then we look. So the first one is a link expression of a function of our models, our contact model, because that's what we're passing in up here. And then it's that's what it is expecting. Sorry. So what you want to put in here is the you want to write. You can't write a model, so you have to write x, and then the lambda expression x dot, and then we want the selected gender. So what you put there is what is going to be selected, or the it's going to be the value that you're going to select is going to be put into the selected gender variable. We're going to do a comma, and then we want an I enumerable select list item. And that's easy. Now here we can do model dot, and then we have a list of genders somewhere, if I can find it. Why can't it be found? Email. Let me just check again. Contact model. Yeah, I did the same in the, yeah, there we go. Of course it's a public, my bad. There we go. Otherwise it cannot be accessed. Right, now we can use it. So, list of genders. Right, so that's all good, and this will work fine. And of course, we probably want a couple more things, so come again. Object HTML attributes. Yeah, why not? Let's give it a new class, and that will be equal to drop down gender. Just so we know. And then we'll do a comma, and this is where it gets a bit weird. Sorry, now it gets a bit weird, because see, now it says object HTML attributes again, and then string option label. So we've used the wrong overloaded method. So here, what we want to do here, oh, not new, oh, there we go. Here, now it works, we want to put in our, so to speak, placeholder for the drop-down menu, our initial value. And if that is a string, then we could just do, like this, for example, select gender, and save it. But of course nothing is being passed into this, we just have an empty list of genders. So now we need to populate this drop down, because if we do try and run it now, it's not going to work, because it's looking for values that are not there. So we go into here, and you can see right now we have our contact model, and we're passing an empty version of it to our partial view. So what we want to do is first in here we want to create a new what's called select list item, and of course, but here we want to do a list. I want to do a list of a select list item. There we go. And we can call this again list of genders. I like to call them the same, which will be equal to a new list of selected items. Of select list items. There we go. So now we have this, and I do not know why an underscore was added, but we'll just configure that. There we go. Okay, so we have our list. Now we need to populate that list. But before we start doing that, we need some data to populate it with. Let me just see. I have the code here on another page, because this is a bit difficult and long code to remember. So I had to write it down. So here we start with Xpath node Iterator, and trust me, it's only because I looked it up for a long time on the internet, on the forums, I actually found this, because this I don't believe any sane person, okay, not sane, but any normal person can just figure out, unless you're really good, of course. But I've never tried. I'd never tried this before, so I had no idea. So anyway, Xpath node Iterator, we'll just call it an Iterator. Is equal to umbraco.library. Sorry, li. Yep, there we go, library. And we want to get preValues. Not a string, just get preValues. There we go. And in here, oh sorry, let me just show you. We want to get the int of our data type's ID. And you're probably asking, well, where the hell do we get that? Very simple. Open up our page, go back a minute. If we go to our developer tab, data type, to our drop down genders, we have our ID up here. In older versions of Umbraco, I actually think it used to be around here or something like that, but they changed that and put it up into here. And if you're a developer, then you know this is understandable. Actually, you know, if you're just a normal guy who's just making this stuff, you don't need it here. But if you're a developer, I don't know, it just makes sense to have it up here. So yeah, let's just grab that and put in the ID. So there we go, now we have hold of that. Yes, now we want to do Iterator. Yep, there we go. Dot move next. And as you can see, it just says that it will, yeah, basically it'll just move to the next item. It will move to the first. Where we'll always be starting on the number, or yeah, on 0, and want to go to the first one. Hope that makes some sort of sense. Now again, we want another Xpath node Iterator, and we'll call this preValues, because these will be the preValues we get out. and that is equal to our iterator, and we want to get the current, select, there we go, select children, yeah, select all the children of the current node. We want to get that, and then we want to tell it what we want. So we'll go like that, Xpath node type or string name. So what do we want? We of course want the preValues, or preValue I should say, and this one works. So we do a comma and then string namespace URI. There's nothing of that here, so just like that. And now we want to write while. And we say while the preValues dot move next. So while you can move to the next preValue, we want to do this. So we'll create a string called preValue, which will be equal to our preValues dot current and then value. And value here is the text inside. So we'll just do that, and that's all we need for now. You're probably asking, well, what about the ID? Well, we don't need it, and I'll show you how to do that well after this. So yeah, this is good enough. And then this time, we don't want to do anything with the list outside of the while loop. In here, we want to add everything, and then after everything has been added to the list, then we want to send the list back to the model. So actually, we can send it back now and just say my model dot list of genders is equal to yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. So here actually list of genders is equal to, and then the list of genders we have already, which is our list, select list. Yeah, there we go. So right now again it will just be sending back empty data because we have nothing in it. So again, nothing. So we'll just go back, open it up, and here we have our string. And now we want to go our list of genders, and then we want to add. And what we want to add is, come on, a new select list item. And here we just want to open brackets, close, there we go, and then comma, and I've actually done something wrong here. We want to put that inside here. Good. Let's just pull this back a little bit so it gets more understandable. Right, there we go. And here we want to grab the text value and set that equal to the so the preValue, comma, and then we have one more thing where we have selected, of course, and then we can say get or set if it should be selected, and we can just set the value here to also be equal to preValue. There we go. So now we have all this. Looks good. Let's see, if we reload now, just waiting, there we go, select gender, Mr. and Mrs. So now it's found the two preValues in the database of this data type, and it's now displaying it to us in the page. But now, the difference is we could just say, instead of value here, we could just say preValues.current position or current position. And that would just give us 0, 0 and 1, because that's the 0th position, that's the first position, or either it's 1, 2, I don't know, but something like that. Problem is that won't work. When we want to put something into our contact form, they all preValues will have an ID, and that ID we don't know, and I still have found no way to see that ID in Umbraco, but we can get hold of the ID, and that we want to do here. So here we do a new comment, we want to set the value, and we called it going well today, drop down gender. think it was drop down gender, or otherwise drop down genders. Let's just see a minute. Master, contact formula, generic property, drop down. It was drop down genders. Bugger. Okay. So drop down genders, and then common here our value will be. But this is where it gets a bit tricky because this is some long code. So let me just see if I can find my code a minute. Yep, there we go. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to create a new data type service. I'll just call it my service, and that will be equal to a new data type service. There we go. So far so good. Yeah. And then we say variable selected gender will be equal to, and then we would say my service, and then get all data type definitions. Yep, there we go. And that accepts some parameters and stuff like that. We're not gonna. Okay, yeah, we are gonna think about that. The parameter int ID is gonna come from our selected gender. Nope, sorry. Let me just look at this a minute. What did I do? Ah, yeah, of course, yeah. Yep, get all data type definitions. We're not going to touch that. We're going to do dot, but we're going to get the first. And we want to get it where x is equal to x dot. And here you can do name and then grab the name of the drop down and then just take that, but we don't want that, because what if someone thinks, oh, drop down genders, I want it to be called drop down gender because we only selected one gender. Well, we do the ID. I found that is the easiest. So the ID will be equal to our ID here. There we go. And then just close that out. So far no problems except for down here, so that's good. Do a new one, and this will be an integer, and then we'll call this selected gender prevalue ID. Okay, and that will again be equal to my service dot get prevalue as let me just see here. Yep, get preValues, what was it? Yeah, collection by data type. Again, long one. And here we want to grab our selected gender, and then we're going to put in the ID, because it wants an ID. There we go. So now what we're doing here is we're getting the ID of our the thing we just grabbed. Yeah. So yeah, and then we want to, after that, we want to do dot preValues as dictionary, and we'll do it where another x. I just like using x, don't know why. We'll do value, and this is a bit weird. Yes, the value here is a it gets the value in the key / value pair, and then dot value again. Let's just go down a minute, and then value stored for the preValue field. That's the one we want, and we want to get that where it's equal to our model dot selected gender. So wherever the text is equal, so what we're basically doing is our selected gender, which we should actually call it maybe list of genders, but no matter. We get all the data type definitions, and we want to get the first one where the ID is equal to that. So here we have our data type, and then we want to get all the collection by data type IDs. That's this ID. We're going to send that in, and then we're going to say, okay, I got the first one, for example, or number 0, that is Mr, if that's the one I selected. And then we want to get the preValue as a dictionary where the value, so that would be Mr, is equal to, well, yeah, Mr. So if they line up, then get that. Well, that's how I understand anyway. And then we want to select where another x dot value, and want to get the not the value, but want to get the ID and then we want to do that for the first type. This just to convert it into a type we can actually use. So now see, that works perfectly. And then now this can be added into our new comment. Select gender preValue as ID. So we go back now. We reload the page. And page reloaded. So we put an email. We can put my name, Casper660. My name is Casper Anderson. We can select a gender, that can be Mrs. And we can type a message, blah blah blah. Press submit. And it just goes through. I have no validation. We'll check. Contact us. There is the form. And there is all the stuff, and it did not select a gender, so I wonder why that is. See, what did I do wrong here? Contact model, list, selected list, blah blah blah. Yep, that all looks pretty good. And then selected gender. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, my service get preValue collection by data type ID. Yep, and then we want the selected genders ID, and then preValue as dictionary where x is equal to x dot value dot values equal to model dot selected gender, and then dot select x is value dot ID dot first. Should not be a problem. Okay, well, basically what you'd want to do here is just try and debug it. So we put a debug point and press F5. Yes, I haven't gotten around to changing my default browser. Typical. There we go, contact, but it actually works pretty well, this Internet Explorer, or new version of Internet Explorer. So yeah, Casper, select gender, Mrs. again, message, submit, and we get it up. So let's see here. A new comment is made fine, or made perfectly, and our data type service created well. Our selected gender is 1081. Or yeah, it's got all the data type definitions. So it's got the control ID, it's got the data type, property, alias, editor, all that stuff we need. Yeah, let's continue. preValue as ID. So the preValue ID is 9. So yeah, that should just be it. Let me just see a minute. Oh, now it works. Don't know what happened over here. Okay. What happens if we save and reload? Sometimes it can put the text away. I don't know what happened there. That is just really unfortunate. But let's just delete both of them again. Boom, delete, delete, and we'll just try again. Actually, we'll just get out of this for first. Control F5 to run, and just exit out of this, and let's use Chrome a minute. Contact us, reload the, maybe it's because I hadn't reloaded the page, who knows. But anyway, Casper Anderson, select gender, oh, Mrs. Write a message, submit, reload the page, check it, and now it has Mrs. Don't know what happened before, that was just a real shame. But anyway, that's how to store a drop down. So yeah, very useful thing to know. Requires quite a bit of code, but now I can go in via the data type and I can just edit anything I want, and it will just yeah, it'll just do it. So that's perfect. Yeah, it's already been a very long video, so I think I'll just stop now. But again, if you found this interesting, or if you actually learned something from it, which I hope you did, then yeah, please do subscribe to my videos. And I already see a lot of people have given me comments and thumbs up, so yeah, the more the merrier. It keeps me going, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.